Today, the message we will share together is from Proverbs chapter 3, 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Amen. We are like sheep and need a shepherd, who knows our way. As David confessed in Psalm chapter 23, "The Lord is my shepherd." Only the Lord guides our path and is responsible for our lives. Proverbs chapter 16:9 says this about making plans. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. We make many plans and start, but we have no idea what tomorrow holds. There are too many variables. The plans we make are merely expectations and hopes. The one who truly guides us on that path is God. James chapter 4:13-15 warns us how wrong it is to think that tomorrow depends on us. Come now, you who say, "Today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city. Spend a year there, buy and sell, and make a profit," whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, "If the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that." Only God can guarantee that we will live tomorrow. We must believe in, rely on, and entrust ourselves to God, who leads us on a path far more beautiful than our plans. So, what kind of person is blessed by God and guided by him? Today's passage says that God himself declares, "I will make your way straight." In other words, it describes two characteristics of a person whose path is made straight by God. First, it is someone who trusts God more without relying on their own wisdom. We need discernment. However, we should trust God more than our own judgment. This is Proverbs chapter 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding, is best exemplified by the Canaanite scouting incident in Numbers chapter 13. The report from 10 of the 12 spies was based solely on objective facts. They discouraged the people by relying solely on their own judgment. However, Joshua and Caleb trusted God more than their own judgment. Because they held on to the promises given by God, they were able to confess their faith even in front of that great obstacle. Secondly, it is one who acknowledges God in all things. Proverbs chapter 3:6 commands, "In all your ways acknowledge him." This means seeking God's will in all our affairs, from the trivial to the significant decisions. As Romans chapter 12:2 says, we are people who live to discern God's will and fulfill that will. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. We must constantly ask what God's will is. Of course, there are many times when God does not reveal our future completely. However, the paths of those who live with a sincere desire to seek the Lord's will are guided and opened by God himself. I bless you to be those who do not rely on their own understanding, but acknowledge God in all things and walk the blessed path according to the Lord's guidance.